Markets all over the map here. Insane profits being booked as this market is 100% on tilt here. S&P finishing down 1%, as are the Qs. A lot to unpack here, a lot to discuss. Watch to the end here because we're going to go over a lot. Spiders here down 1% on the day. QQQ down about the same. Looks like they just adjusted that, so maybe they just adjusted it. Goes to SPX down 0.94, so there was a little bit of a tick down in the spiders there by the end of the day, but nonetheless, effectively 1%. Diamond down 75 basis points in the Russell, down 1.73. But this has been, I was just saying to members, this has been like, I would honestly say that it takes a lot for me to say something like this, but this is like historic price action. And I mean, what do I mean by that is you got like a market here that closed at the highs yesterday, and we talked about the engulfing candle, and I said, look, it's not engulfing because it didn't do it by like literally 1 point. It was like 1.5 points on the S&P. I mean, the high was 82.96, and the close here was 81.62. So it looked like $1.30 on the S&P, but it matters. That left the door open for selling. And what happens when you do that and you gap below the low the prior day, or excuse me, the following day, it's almost always like that's it. The rubber band snaps, like it's over. Again, I was just showing this example here. I've talked about it a week ago, but yeah, usually like when you get like that right there, something like that, and then just like you gap below, everybody's trapped. That's it. Forget it. The market here managing to hold on, and we gave you the levels in pre-market too. So again, go find Carnivore trades on there, because we talk about these pre-market every single day. But I mean, you can see, if we can pull it up, there's our channel there, Carnivore trades. Anyway, 670 held. And when I did the short this morning, I said I'm not really a buyer here. We were right down there. And this just goes to show like patience is everything here in this tape. When the market is going down in a straight line like this, you don't need to knife catch. Just let the market tell you. And again, it's just been an amazing week already. If you haven't joined the Discord, I highly recommend joining Active Traders. We're up. Just closed up my NQ runner for 305 points here off the lows. So again, entry at 24,445, and we caught that huge pop there, and that was also after TMF, a nice gain there, and also a morning trade on ES here. But this market has been making day trading really good. We're getting trend moves every single day, 100-point trend moves every single day. But this price action is historic here. And do you now see what I mean when I say everyone's hedged? Look at how hard it is for the market to sell off here. I mean, if I told you that the NASDAQ would be down 2.5% at one point today, you'd be like, oh, well, you obviously broke the low from 2.6. And we didn't do that, right? We didn't even close below the 200. E-mini, right? Didn't even close. I mean, it closed above this inside bar is still alive. Like, that's technically a bull inside bar, and it's still alive. Like, you can't even imagine that that's like a thing. You can't imagine the NQ made a higher low here. The cash S&P down 2.5%, closes above 6,800, right? That's the big GEX wall. That's the big CTA wall the fabled CTAs that everybody is always so scared of, but the CTAs are always late to the party. Which is probably what helped us bottom here today, honestly. They probably did jump on right there, and then you get max positioning, and then you get a V shape. Do I think the bottom is in? No, I don't necessarily think that. I'm more interested in time than price right now, and I think we're close on time. But I'll tell you this right now, the VIX right now, that finished nicely off the lows. I don't think this is necessarily done. It did have a good reversal intraday, but usually when the VIX is done, it'll sell all day. It does not come back. And it came back the last 2 days. I even said that yesterday. I was like, yeah, they kept the VIX bid, into the close, into the afternoon even. So that's 2 days in a row. Look at the price action. It's the same price action the last 2 days, right? So 2 days in a row of that. Another thing is VVIX. Now, again, this is why I do think we're getting close, right? We're getting close. I mean, you can see, like, it doesn't really go much higher here before, you get a top out in this. So I definitely think it's getting up there. What are we going to have to do to get this to be I mean, I would prefer this. Trust me, I want this to break out. I want the market to unpin, so we can so we can kill some of this dispersion and get a a 90% rally or a 90% sell. Which at one point today we were at 90, we were at 96% down. I checked the advanced decline; it was at like 14 at one point. So we're we had that. We just didn't close with it, which is not the bottoming signal you want. But yeah, just wild stuff here. It's great for day trading. It's amazing for day trading. I'm making ridiculous profits here. Swings kind of sucks. It just kind of sucks here. You can't even get any follow through. Let me just check CrowdStrike. That was a swing that I had. I actually took that off at 381 today from 356. I think I bought at, and it held Gex support. I gave you that this morning too in the live stream. Again, over on Carnivore Trades. We can look at that right now. But the reason I want to bring up software, there it is, boom. There's your dealer wall there. But Aaron, dealers are just a lie to make, they're made up to throw you off the center. Okay, all right, thanks. Why was the lower today 367.50 then? Sorry, 367.84. But yeah, 400, 420, those were your kind of right tails, and very nice level there on crowd. The reason why I want to bring up software too is that was a winner for us. But IGV, and we told you the jaws were going to snap shut. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row where IGV is closed higher than where it opened. And you look at what the cash S&P did during that time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 days. It's much lower. IGV is much higher. SMH, right? The opposite, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those jaws are coming shut here. Microsoft up 1.35. That's 3 days in a row of higher lows. 1, 2, 3 higher lows, 3 days in a row. S&P, right? Not the same. 3 of the opposite. And right into that broadening channel there too. So that, it's going to be interesting here. How does this end? I don't think it's done. I think tomorrow, this isn't going to be as good of a prediction as Friday or as last Thursday, but I do think we'll get a headline tomorrow morning that gaps us. I don't know if you necessarily want to fade that, but there should be some more trend tomorrow, I'm guessing. It would be funny though if this was the low and then we ended up just going up to the top end there. I mean, there's certainly nothing saying that can't happen right now. But I do think you'll see a low probably this week, as long as, because I mean, one way or the other, we're either going to hang in this range and then dispersion's going to take over and we're going to get Vanna Charm rally next week, or the rubber band breaks, and then when the rubber band breaks, we're going to bottom in 3 days anyway. So I think that's kind of like the setup right now, but I don't really see this volatility necessarily ending until, but probably the later this week at least. But yeah, we're above 6,800. CTA's got stuffed as always. They always do. Watch the Qs though. Notice how QQQ, where it gapped today, it didn't even gap to a new low versus the spiders. So again, I've been telling you this. You guys think I'm nuts, but big money is more like they've been buying more NASDAQ than anything else. You can see the RTY made lower lows, the Dow made lower lows, and NQ didn't. So what can we deduce from that information? Oh, the market is buying technology more. And everybody thinks I'm crazy for saying that, but literally the proof is right here in the data. You don't even need me to tell you that. You can just look at the chart. But yeah, nonetheless, NQ down 1.1. Semis, obviously the drag there. NVIDIA held up all day. This was kind of a tell too. I mean, it was an inside move. And when NVIDIA doesn't break down, it's like a it's like a back brace for the market, basically. Anyway, Dow Transports here, another day of just holding up here. Big dip candle, but closing back above the 20. TLT, this is another really good trade for us. So we had the TMF this morning. I knew 89 was going to be some support there. We gapped into it and got TMF pre-market and had a nice little pop off that. I'm not holding it anymore, but it was a nice little gain there to start the day, as was our little E-mini trade and the NQ as well. Again, just continuing to rack it up. I might take the rest of the week off after tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, so rates held up. TLT, nice little dip by. Beautiful necktie of the 100 and the 20 day, if you guys know that pattern. XHB bouncing off the 100-day, and REITs held up pretty well here too. So that may be getting ready to finally get that trend leg going. A nice move there for IYR. XLF, nice dip buy. Again, finished. I mean, this was green at one point today. This was green at one point. So it's hanging in there. Let's look at Blackstone. That one's in trouble. Yeah, it held that low at least. See if it can reclaim the April low, 115.66. If it can do that by the end of the week, that would certainly, be a positive here. But 1, 2, 3 lower high is not a good sign on the weekly. But I mean, it's too late to take advantage of that now. There's Jeffries too, that piece of junk. Harris, let's see. Yeah, that one, it held up. It held the 110 handle. How's Owl? Yeah, it held on. 10's a big level for that. KRE down 46 cents. Again, inside day all the way. Broker dealer, slight lower low, but no follow through. We mentioned oil. It made a new high, but no follow through here. And again, just keep an eye on oil. If it starts collapsing, that's going to help the market. If it keeps going up, the market probably really won't like that. That's pretty simple. XLE down 52 cents. So that high is holding. So it's been a sell the news so far. Same thing with XOP. It did make a new high, but no closing high, and it closed red. And OIH testing the 20 for the first time since the breakout. So pretty cool. Just a ridiculous buy program there on that. And then the dollar, which is worthless and has zero value, made it all the way to 99.68 today. So a higher high there. So that de-dollarization narrative was greatly exaggerated, as you can see. Anyway, gold down almost 4%. We should have known that there was going to be a resistance at 54. I think I talked about that last week. Silver, again, got hit pretty good. It hit our 95 target. This is still, like, I know I said it's not dead yesterday and it was down today, but it still has room to be a higher low. If this rallies tomorrow, this chart's fine. Am I buying it? No, I'm just saying it's fine. And just, keep in mind here that, like, the RSI, like, on the monthly is still at freaking 77. Like, the other day, it was at 92 when we were up here. So, like, it still needs to tighten up a lot if you're thinking about it. I get people asking me, oh, can we buy something? Like, you can buy it as a trade, but it's not going breaking out anytime soon, if you ask me. Platinum here, testing 2,000. That may hold right now. And then palladium, same kind of deal. 1550 is your big level. Copper took a little bit of a hit too, so that's starting to look a little bit tired here. And then Bitcoin, literally no changes. I hate talking about this every single day because it does nothing. But inside day, and it never made a new low, so that's a positive. If this thing ever breaks out, it's really going to squeeze up. But it's been dead here. So we'll see what we get tomorrow. We got ADP at 8:15. That could move the tape. Maybe that's a headline. I think it's more geopolitical if we're going to get anything. But yeah, right now, 6,800 on the cash S&P. That's your big level right now for E-mini. We'll talk about the levels tomorrow. But yeah, you got to start by getting back up to this trend line here, 68.60. I do think the market wants to retest that at least. Let me use a 4-hour, yeah. So you can see here, I think it wants to retest that at least. Let me put my other lines on here. There we go. That's much better. There we go. See, that's what you get for doing it on a daily chart. There we go. But yeah, up in that area, maybe like 68.70 now. That'll be a big area to retest if we get up there tomorrow. So anyways, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys all tomorrow morning.